And so it is, beloved masters. How do you create? Or how do you create? Or how do you create? 4 words. You can say them many different ways, and each way, each point of emphasis brings you a different perspective. 4 words that, as you contemplate and consider, can expand the energetic space and open you to greater contemplation about how do I create. We call the magicians and the ancients and the elementals too. We call all the masters, and we invite you to be with us in this time to share the magic too. Magic from long ago, and magic in the air. Magic that is where you go. Magic everywhere. We call the spell, we call the wand, we call the fun so free. And we invite you all to join us. And as my will, so moot it be. The spell, the rhyme, the intention, feeling the magic, feeling it. Sometimes you'll feel it on your skin like electricity, with chills and shivers and crackles of energy. It sparkles, it dazzles. And even though your physical eyes may see nothing, in the inner eye, in alignment with your sacred imagery, the magic shows itself. Beauteous pictures, colors, sparkles, flashes of light, rainbows. To glance at someone that you are with, and for a moment to see someone else. Or in a gathering that you know the number that is there, you suddenly find that another space is filled. And often before you can fix your focus on that extra person, the space is empty again. And a lot of these things that are and will continue and will become more prevalent as we consider them. It isn't because you're mad. It isn't a sign of insanity. It is, beloved masters, an affirmation, a confirmation that you are more real than you have been in lifetimes, and that you are being invited, opened, energized, expanded to all of the treasures that the world has to offer, that the universe holds in a storehouse that is activated by your own practical magic. The magic, beloved masters, is how you live your life. And there has been for lifetimes the talk of light, white magic and dark, evil magic, and yet magic is the energy that neither is good nor bad. It's the energy that is a neutral form until you, dearly beloved magician, name it. And the warnings, oh yes, the warnings that it's highly inappropriate to use magic. Now, dearly beloved masters, when you do not participate in your life, there is a price. And the price has been, throughout this game of illusion, that you feel lonely, cut off, that you may feel unloved, unwanted, unacceptable. And the illusion has encouraged that feeling, so humanity has tried harder and harder to make the things that they desire happen. And yet, beloved master, it is not going to damage your life flow if you call up a cup of tea, if you point your wand at the stove and ask it to alight for your service, to wash the dishes or put them away. And the mind says, oh, that's theatrical. That's something that's done with a computer. And what, beloved masters, is a computer but modern day magic that allows you access to things that have always been there, but no one believed it. And then, beyond the limits that at first awed humanity, and then people became complacent, more and more and more science, technology, art. The computer doesn't divide things into boxes by judgment. It categorizes because it is the easiest way for the human mind to find the information. But that doesn't take the magic out of it. And some minds become so intrigued with the magic of research that they can lose themselves for hours or even days in finding all kinds of information. But once you've gathered the information, how do you use it? How does it serve you? Once you begin to remember the energy of magic, the next step, beloved masters, is trusting it. Trusting it. And all of the old teachings of the illusion that have warned humanity away from the technology of magic, the punishment that will come if you use the magic, if you investigate the magic, if you learn about the magic. If you feel it rather than just thinking about it. So consider the energy of religion. It teaches that you must be very, very good. That you must be good because the outcome of your actions determines whether you will go to heaven or not. And all of the egoic, intellectual, emotional reactions to, have I done the right thing? Did I do it the right way? And the constriction, the restriction, the inhibition has brought humanity to a feeling of unworthiness. I'm not good enough, which has come from the confusion, the difference between being what you have been told to be and really being you. And that statement, for many people, will send a shiver up their spine, a thrill of, yes, perhaps even fear. To be me instead of being good? Beloved masters, for most people, being who you are is so much better than the falseness of goodness that you have been taught. The magic not only weaves a spell of wonder for yourself and others, but the magic opens you to that sacred space within you where you discover it's filled with rainbows. And there really is a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. That fairies and leprechauns and elven people are feisty and well trained in the art of conflict, and yet, as you are well with yourself, they feel it. As you respect yourself, they respect you. And it isn't about the fear of domination or superiority. It is about the alignment in wholeness that becomes recognizable as you remember and live who you are. Having the courage to live who you are, even though that flicker of doubt may be there. But what if who I am isn't good enough? And I assure you, beloved masters, even though there is a variegation of energy on the planet, and people express who they are, or who they are afraid they are, or who they doubt they are, and it's up to you to be aligned within yourself to realize magic is practical. And as you weave it into your daily affairs, it doesn't become complacent or boring. It adds a spice to life. It makes life more intriguing. The color, the scope, it all opens out as you live the magic that you were created to be, to produce, and to utilize for beautiful, amazing, loving outcomes. How do you create? When you decide to create a spell, is your energy open? Is your solar plexus flexible? So that as you are creating the spell, you can actually feel the invitation of what you desire, calling that to you. You send forth the energy in creating the spell, yes, but you don't send your selfhood away from you. You, aligned with yourself, stay now. And in that now, you broadcast the desire, the passion, and the faith to draw what you are calling to you according to the highest good of all concerned. So as you are casting a spell, pay very close attention to the energy of doubt, to the questions that the ego mind may bring up of deservability, of worthiness, of righteousness. Because, dearly beloved masters, it is not to weave threads of doubt, of disbelief, of mistrust into your beautiful, amazing, shiny, wondrous spell. But it isn't about goodness as being so pure that you literally cannot interact with the affairs of the world, so even daring to make a spell could be a contaminant. And believing that spell work is dirty work is another thread that would best not be woven into your spell, into your ritual. So you may be discovering, beloved masters, that as you create a spell, impromptu, that it feels lighter. It doesn't get as complicated. But if you desire to write a spell in your book of shadows, or to write a spell and to be with it until it feels just right. Feeling just right is a point of comfortability and not a judgment, a value judgment on whether it's perfect or not. Light-hearted, free, loving, clear. With a belief, with a trust, with a faith in fulfillment, but also a deep recognition that sharing is a part of the fulfillment of receiving. And how that has been colored in the illusions is that you must share even if you don't have anything to share. That you must give even if it's scraping the bottom of the barrel and giving someone splinters. It's still more important to give than to receive. And yet, when you get practical about your magic, giving when you have nothing causes a sense of question about, am I giving good enough? Is my love good enough? Is what I'm sharing worthy? So, beloved masters, as love is a circle, giving and receiving are a circle, and as you keep the heart cup turned up so that God, the universe, the magic, can fill your cup to overflowing, to be fulfilled, and yet never to be so full that you cannot have more, because as your cup runs over, you share that energy, that good, that love, the results of your magic, the potentials of your mastery. You share it with others without question or qualification. But giving requires attention. For in the illusion, giving has been very often a system to get something back in return, which means it isn't altogether giving, but much more it is barter. Giving allows other people to be who they are. And if you feel in your sacred space that giving a gift at this point in time is something that might not, by the feeling that you get in your truth center, bring about the best outcome, it isn't to frankly deny sharing, but to consider the timing of the situation. Timing is absolutely everything, especially in magic. You can cast your ritual, work your spell, and it still is not going to make what you want happen right now. So all the old doubts that have been woven into the illusion of separation began to come forward. I cast my spell. It felt very powerful. I thought, operative word, that by this time the results of the spell would have shown themselves in some way. The fact that it was last night, it's only been 12 hours, possibly could have something to do with the gestation period of bringing the spell to fruition. So, how do you create? And if you are doing a spell, you may inadvertently be weaving some old limitations, possibly some old threads of conflict, some demands, some intimidations into your spell. They may not stop the spell, but they can, to a certain extent, distort the energy. And it is not, beloved masters, about being so afraid you're going to do things wrong. It's about entering into the ritual, the spell, with a clear intention to create something wonderful.